of process. So actually parent process creates a child process. We'll see of course we have saw in the last video session fork is used a system caller which creates the child process, which in turn creates other process forming a tree. Generally process identified and managed via process identifier. So something like how you people have a university registration number, that is USN number. The same way for each process will have a unique ID called process identifier or PID. For what purpose process creation does, and to complete the task, the process creates its child to complete the task. So what it actually does, it does a resource sharing. So parents and children share all resources. So whatever the resources shared by the parent, thus all the resources according to the resources what is shared by the parent, at the same time it can use extra resources also. So the resources what the parent is shared, if the resources X is shared, along with the child can also share its own resources. So X plus X is the resources which is shared by the parent, and small x is the resources shared by the children both. This is by default it will be there, and this is extra if it is required. Children share subset of parent resources. Parent and child share no resources. Parent and child share the resources what is shared by the child cannot be shared to the parent. Execution. Parent and children executes concurrently. Parents waits until child terminates. So two process, that is parent and child process executed concurrently, but the parent child cannot terminate or immediately after its work. It as the child first gets terminate, then only the parent get terminated. So since the parents has completed its task, but it has to wait the child to complete the task. So till the child completes, the parent process cannot get terminated. Once the child process gets terminated, then parent gets terminated. So this is what the child process creation. So in the next slide we'll see the commands used to create a child process. Address space, child duplicate of parent, child as a program loaded into it. Child is a duplicate of parents, agreed? Yes. Child as a program loaded into it. Unix example, so they have taken an example to create a child processor of a Unix operating system. In that, fork is a system call creates a new process. Fork is a system call creates new process. Execution system call used after a fork to replace the process memory space with new program. Exe execute system call used after a fork to replace the process memory space. So fork will create a child process, then after it gives a space or memory to the child process, then execution system call gets execute the parent process as well as child process. This is a diagram of process creation. So you can see the fork, they use a system call Unix system call to create a process. So system call fork is create a child process. So child process get executed, start getting executed. At the same time, parent process has to wait. Parent process has to wait till the child process get executed and exit. So after it is exit from the CPU, then the control goes to the parent process, which is waiting to complete the execution of the child. Once it gets a command, parent process gets a command from the from the child that it is completed its execution and it is been get terminated, then the process which is waiting in the waiting queue, it starts executing its process, that is start executing its work or task. So this is process creation. This is of Unix system commands used to create a child process. So parents has to wait the child process gets complete its work and terminated. Once it get terminated, it starts proceeding its work. So they have given one that is program of POSIX, that is a fork using a Unix command fork. So see, fork, it has a process ID. It's a parent process ID. It's stored it in PID. If PID, if the fork, it is PID, if it is lesser than 0. So if it is 0 is lesser than 0 or -1 is lesser than 0, then fork failed to create a child process. So exit 1. Else if PID is equals to 0, 0, then child process is get created, then execute the command. Else parents has to wait the till child process gets completed. So printf, that is wait till null. When null becomes, then parent, that is printf child completed its task, come out of the loop. So this is a command or this is a code to create a child process. After creating, when the child completes its task, it has to get terminated, then then the parent process starts executing its task. So very important question in the examination also. Write a C program or write a code to create a child process using fork command. So if they ask, you have to write this code, and the main thing here is you have to remember, when a fork, that is fork is lesser than 0 or fork is equals to 0, you have to remember, that is when PID is equal to 0 or PID is lesser than 0, you have to consider these two condition, then you can write it on your own. You can, there is no need of biting. So when the fork is lesser than, that is PID is lesser than 0, exit, there is a child is not created and our fork failed to create a child process. If the PID is equals to, that is 0 equals to 0, then the child process gets created. So wait till it becomes a null. So once it becomes a null, then child completed its task. So parent will wait for child to complete the task. So parent process, else create wait till the child gets complete its task. So this is a tree on a typical on Solaris as an operating system. So PID becomes a 0. So it has, these are all the sub processors. There is a child processors creating a ID. So PID 1, PID 2, PID 3. So this is a trees how it goes. The child process is, this is a parent process, and these are all the child process of this parent process. So once this process all completes its task, then only it can perform its task and gets terminated. Process termination. Process executes last statement and asks the operating system to delete it. So the process P1 creates its child process P2. Okay, once it gets completed its task, then this memory has to be used by the other child of the parent process. So once it is been completed its task, then it has to be removed from the memory to, because memory has to be given to the some other process. So after that, that is what it says. Using exit command, it terminates from the memory. Output data from child to parent is via wait. Output data from child. So if there is a data has to be given back to the parent process, then via wait command it can transfer the data. Process resources are deallocated by operating system. So whatever the process or resources are allocated to the process are deallocated by the operating system. So it may allocated a memory, it may allocated a input output devices, it may allocated some other resources. Then after completion, after it get terminated, the resources which is held by the child process or any other process, it has to get released. And how it is done? By operating system will take will perform the operation or perform the task to releases the resources which is held by the process which is get exited. Parents may terminate the execution of children process by command abort. Parents may terminate the execution of the children process by abort. Child has exceeded the allotted resources. So when it get the parents will terminate. Child has exceeded the allotted resources. It has been allocated some resources. It wants some more resources to perform the task. At that time, parent may get terminated the child process. Task assigned to child is no longer required. So some task is being assigned by the parents to perform that some task by to the child. If it is no longer required, at that time parents can terminate the child process. If parent is exiting, that is if it is exit, some operating system do not allow the child to continue. If its parents terminate, it terminates. If the parent is get terminated due to some function or due to some interrupt occurs, at that point of time, since no the parent is exist, so at that point of time the child process gets terminated by the operating system. All children terminated, cascading termination. If the no parent is if the parent has number of child to perform the task, at that time if the parent gets terminated due to some misunderstanding by the operating system, or due to some interrupted or due to some other functioning, at that point of time its child process as a number of parent process as a number of children. So to terminate it's going to terminate all the childs whichever the that is performing the task. Then operating system will cascading the termination of all the process of that particular parent process. Inter-process communication. Process within a system may be independent. Process within a system may be independent or cooperating. Cooperating process can affect or be affected by other process. Cooperating process can be affected or affected by other process, including sharing data. So there will be two process which is cooperating and sharing the same resources. So it will be affected by other process also. There is the process which is share the same resources. A reason for cooperating process is information sharing, computation speed up, modularity, convenience. Information sharing, computation speed, modularity, convenience. So why the cooperating should be there? If this process is holding some resources to complete its task, then this process is also requires the same resources which is held by the P1. At that time cooperating is required, so it can wait till it's complete its task. So otherwise, if there is no cooperating is there, then separate resources has to be allocated where the computation has to be separated. It should be there, or separate CPU. Cost will be more. So there should be cooperating process should be there. Cooperating process need inter-process communication. Cooperating process need inter-process communication (IPC). Two models of IPC. One is shared memory and message passing. So inter-process communication is a two-process model. One is shared memory and message passing. So they can ask in the examination. Write a short notes on inter-process communication and explain two models of IPC. So one is shared memory and message passing. So in this communication model, one is shared memory as well as another one is a message passing. Okay, so shared memory, you can see which is a shared memory. The diagram B is called as a shared memory, and communication model is in the message passing is A, and shared memory is figure B. Okay, so you can see in the shared memory, inter-process communication using shared memory requires a communicating process to establish a region of a shared memory. So this is a shared memory. It requires a communication process to establish a region of the shared memory. The communication in between this process is sharing the same resources, and this process also using the same memory. So there should be some communication between process B and process A, because process A is holding a memory, then process B cannot hold the same memory. At that time there should be communication between A and B. So this is what the shared memory. So message passing, you can see here, if the process A, process B, if you making use of the system call from the kernel, then there is sending a message from or the data which is used in A has to be shared to the B, and it cannot directly share between A and B. So through the communication with the help of the kernel, it shares the memory in between A and B. So these are the two IPC model. Where it going to uses share the memories, or it may share the data from one process to another. And there is a producer and consumer process also. So we can call this as a producer and consumer also. So if this is the process, shared memory can also be as a producer and consumer. For example, this is producing some there is it going to produce some input or output, and this is the data which is required by the B. So then this will be the producer and this will be the consumer. Process B be a consumer and process A will be the producer. In some cases, process A required the resources or the data from the process B, then this will be the producer and this will be the consumer. Cooperating process. Independent process cannot affect or be affected by the execution of another process. Independent process cannot affected or affect by the execution of another process. Cooperating process can affect or be affected by execution of another process. Obviously, independent process, see, there is no process is dependent about one to one. So obviously there will be no affected will be there to the another process. Cooperating process, obviously, if you're going to help, then I will be going to help to you. If that is a agreement between two process, obviously there will be affection, there is affected will be there. If you not going to produce a data to me, then I won't going to produce the data to you. So this is what the agreement between the shared memory, that is cooperating process. What is the advantages of process cooperation? Obviously we shall see the information sharing will be there, computation speed will be there, modularity, conveniences. So computation speed, obviously if the process P1 and P2 is making a CPU cycle, process P1 making a CPU cycle 1 and process P2 making a process cycle 1. So if this is the case, after completion of this process then CPU cycle can be shared with the process P2. Then process P2 will have a CPU cycle 2, where the computation speed will be more. After the completion of these two, if there is any other task by the P1, then this computation, the CPU cycle can be shared with the process P1, where the computation speed will be more. So this is one of the advantages of having a cooperating process. And you can see, of course, this is a code for the shared data. Yeah, you can see here bounded buffer, and there is a producer is called as a bounded buffer, and consumer will have, you can see here, 1 minute. So in the bounded buffer, there is shared memory location, shared memory solution, they have used the circular queue. Okay, so in the circular queue, both in is equals to out. So in is equals to out. If it is in is equals to out, then the buffer size is full. There is no there is no producer and consumer can share the data. If there is a case, see, you can see the producer. Producer means process A. You think that process A produces an item, while in is equals to A, they use the circular queue. If in is equals to out, then there is no free there is free buffer is there to share the data. At that time, if this is going to fail, then buffer in is equals to item, then the item processor, new processor, there is a process A, produces a some data that has been sent into the buffer in, then increment the buffer size, that is in, is equals to in plus 1 modulus of a buffer size. So what it says, so here you can see here, yeah, there is a buffer size in the circular queue. So all this data is filled, both if the in and out. In is equals to out, then the buffer size is filled. If it is, this is going to fail, then you can fill the data here, some data A, then you can move the buffer size. So some item is being included in buffer, and you can move the in size here. So this is a producer. So consumer, what will going to do? You can see in the consumer. So if in is equals to out, do nothing. We cannot do any per operation. You can see here. If in is equals to out, then there is a no, because all the data which is produced by the producer is being consumed by the consumer. So this is what the statement says. So if the consumer wants to accept the data, then this is a item is been inserted at this location, then item is consumed by the consumer with the help of this code. So item is equals to buffer out. So in the buffer out, whatever the item is there is been pushed, then out is equals to out plus 1 divided by buffer size. So this is what the consumer code. So they can ask in the examination, write a producer consumer code. So if they ask, write a producer and consumer code in the shared memory location, shared memory IPC, then this is the code that you have to write. So inter-process communication message passing, in this mechanism of process to communicate and to synchronize their actions. Message system process communicates with each other without restoring the shared memory. IPC facilitates provides a two operation, one is send and one is receive message. Message size is fixed. So whenever sending and receiving, the message size is fixed. For example, whenever send some messages to the receiver, the size, if the size is fixed from 0 to 7, then only this is the size you can send a data. If it is more than this size, then the data has to be break into 0 to 7, and you have to send the messages to the receiver. If P and Q wishes to communicate, they need to establish a communication link. Obviously, if P1 and P2 both want to share data, then there should be established a communication link in between P1 and P2. Exchange the message via sending and receiving. Implementing of a communication link, that is either physically or with a logically. Physically means they can use a hardware like buses or shared memory. Logically means some logical properties has to be used. Direct communication, that is send and receiver. That is send the P. If you want to send a message to the process P and receive a message from the process Q. So P and Q is there. Then while sending messages, there is send a message from to Q P. There is send a message. There is Q is a sender and P is a receiver, and receive message from Q. This is what the condition says. This is send and this is receiver. Properties of a communication link. Links are established automatically. A link is associated with exactly one pair of communication process. Between each pair there exists exactly one link. Will be only one link between P and Q. The link may be unidirectional, but it is usually bidirectional. So it says a unidirectional, it can be a bidirectional actually. This P can send a messages to the Q, and Q can send a messages to the P, and P can receive a messages from Q, and Q can receive messages from P. Indirect communication, messages are directed and received from mailboxes, and each mailbox has unique ID. Process can communicate only if they share a mailbox. Properties of communication link. Link established only if process shares a common mailbox. So P and Q are shared a same mailbox, then there will be unique ID. ID will be unique for both P and Q. A link may establish associated with many processes. Each pair of processes may share several communication links. Link may be unidirectional, bidirectional, same as it is for the direct communication. Indirect communication also have a properties of same properties. Indirect communication creates a new mailbox, sending and receiving message box. Destroy a mailbox after there is no use. You can destroy the message box. Primitives are defined as send a message to mailbox A, receive a message from the mailbox A. So they given one example. P1, P2, P3 shares a mailbox A. P1 sends, P2 and P3 receives. So you can see here, this is a mailbox A, and P1, P2 and P3. P1 sends a message to the mailbox, and P3 receives the message from A, that is P1, P2 and P3. Allow a link to be associated with at most two processes. Only one process at a time to execute a receiver operation. Allow the system to select the receiver. Synchronization. Message passing may be either blocking or a non-blocking. Blocking is considered as a synchronized, and non-blocking is considered as a asynchronous. Blocking sends as the sender block until the message is received. Blocking sends sender block until the message is received. Blocking receive the receiver block until message is available. Non-blocking sends the sender send the message and continue. Receive as receiver receive a valid or null. Buffering, queue of messages attached to the link, implemented in one or three ways. One is zero capacity, bounded capacity, that is finite length, unbounded capacity, infinite length. Zero capacity, zero messages, sender must wait for receiver. Zero capacity, sender must wait for receiver. Bounded, the sender must wait if link full. Sender never waits. So this is what the buffering queue of the messages attached to the link, implemented one or three ways. So by this we have completed the chapter 3. If you have any doubt, you can ask. So we have, by this we completed first module of the operating system, that is introduction. In that 3 chapter, one is introduction and the operating system structure, and another one is a process concept. So by next week we'll see the second module. Thank you. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the online session. Thank you all.